Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the big win for our Tennessee Volunteers versus the Alabama Crimson Tide last night. Huge win for so many reasons. We're going to go through all of it, but I think that this team is ready to make a Final Four push and potentially a national championship push. But before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, now, first and foremost, we won 81-74. The game was in Tuscaloosa. We're going to kind of go through some of the stats, and I'm just going to, walk through pretty much every single player and talk about what they brought to the team, what they brought to the game, and why I think that this is going to mean possibly a national championship for our Volunteers. I think that we got one step closer to proving that we can be and that we are a national championship caliber basketball team. So, number one, whenever you look at the shooting percentage for us, 36%, okay, which is not good at all. 30% from three, 72% from the free throw line. And if you look at what we held Alabama to, we all know that they like to shoot those three balls, and that's pretty much how they lost this game. But they shot 38%, and they only shot 24% from three. That right there was obviously going to be a big game plan for Rick Barnes and his entire basketball team, was to be able to close out on those three-point shooters. Now, they did hit some big ones, but you really can't stop a team that shoots threes, so consistently like Alabama does. You can only hope to contain it. And I feel like Tennessee did a great job of that last night. And then Alabama shot 76% from the field goal line. So really, if you're looking at everything, like I said, it's pretty much just the fact that Alabama didn't do a good job shooting threes last night. And a lot of that has to do with our defense. All right, and when you look at the rebounds, Alabama actually out-rebounded Tennessee. That's something that we're going to have to fix moving forward for sure. And then moving on over to the steals, Tennessee did a good job on defense with steals, with blocks. We did a better job than Alabama in both of those categories. You can see the turnovers right here. Alabama had 12. Tennessee only had 6, and that was another big factor in why Tennessee won. All right, so now let's move on back up, okay, because I want to talk about some individual players, starting off with Adu. 12 points, okay? We know that he went out early. He got into foul trouble. That's something he's going to have to work on moving forward, because we definitely need him to be a consistent factor throughout a game. It was really kind of a struggle, especially towards the end of the first half, because he wasn't in. And then, we got in foul trouble with some other players. But I think that he did a pretty solid job. He really needs to find some more confidence, okay? I think just in, being able to shoot his shot, and especially once he gets into foul trouble, he plays a little bit softer, and we just can't have that, especially knowing that we already don't do a good job of defending really good bigs. So we need for him to hit his stride over these next couple of games, and I think that he will, okay? He does a really good job on defense. Everyone on this team does. He had 2 blocks. He had 1 steal, and, they came in some pretty big moments, and, I just need for him to, again, find some consistency with his confidence. Now on down to our dude, DK. He had 13 points. He shot 1 of 7 from 3 and 5 of 14 overall. Shot 50% at the free throw line. We got to definitely get that improved for him. But the biggest thing that I'm going to talk about with DK is that we all know that he's our guy, okay? He's going to shoot his shots. He's not going to get down on himself. He doesn't care if he misses. And one of the things that I really love about him is that he just wants to win. He doesn't care how many points he scores. It's just about winning. So he had a down game. And what that means is other players had to step up whenever this happens. So I think that this was just a perfect game for us to get ready for the tournament, because we saw that. So starting off with Zakai Ziegler, he came out and he balled. He took the open looks. We talked about that so many times. Take the open shots. He took care of the basketball as well with only 1 turnover, 18 points. And, as far as assists go, he only had 4, but there were 4 good assists. He played great on defense. That's saying only 1 steal. Feels like he got more. He actually got a block as well. I love what he does on offense and defense whenever he's in his element, whenever he's in his zone. We need this Zakai moving forward if we want to have a real chance to make a push for a national championship this season. He could have been the player of the game, but there's a couple of other players that I'm going to, potentially throw into that mix as well. So on down to Vescovi. He's a guy that I would definitely be throwing into that player of the game mix. Now, we talked about it. We said, hey, look, he needs to score at least 8. Santi, can you give us 8? Well, he gave us 8, and he had some huge steals. He just plays with so much effort, so much passion on defense, and he was one of our better defenders last night. And I think that he was a huge catalyst to us being able to win this game. Now, you also look and see that he had 2 assists. One of them was a big one to Zakai Ziegler for 3. And that was just like a huge turning point in the game because, we were kind of struggling and we needed to hit some points. As a matter of fact, I think that we were down at that point. So that was huge. He goes out, gets those tough rebounds, and he just, again, he's that junkyard dog. But whenever he adds the scoring to his game, bro, this team takes a huge step forward, okay? So very proud of him, very happy to see that out of Santi. Now, Josiah Jordan-James, again, taking the shots. He took his open looks for the most part. Now, he did pass up some, but he ends up with 11 points, and that's more than the 8 that I asked for. I said, hey, man, look, just give us 8, and we'll be fine. He gives us 11 points. A couple of those was some big threes. He actually had 3 big threes, so he shot 50% from there, and he gives us 13 rebounds. Now, I will say this. He would have had more rebounds if we could hold on to him. He's one of those guys that for some reason, man, he just seems to like the ball just pops out of his hands sometimes on those rebounds. But I'll take the 13. I think that he played hard. I think that he found some confidence last night. And we just need for him to continue to shoot his open looks because he's going to get them, right? We saw that when that basketball is moving, a lot of times he's going to be the one that ends up wide open in the corner. So we need for him to be shooting with confidence moving forward into the tournament. All right, now on down to the bench. We're starting off with Tobe Awaka. He had to come in early because we know that Adu got in foul trouble. So he's going to be such a big factor for us moving forward if this happens, especially versus some, better bigs, because again, that's what we really struggle with the most. But we need for him to consistently be just freaking dominant, just a dog down there in the post, body people out, box out, get those rebounds, get some tough points for us. We've seen him do it a couple of times, but he has to find that consistency for us to be a championship team this season. Now, on to another big in JP Estrella. Same thing with him, okay? Now, I would say he probably even more so than Tobe Awaka. He really has to find some more confidence, especially as a scoring threat. Now, he does kind of seem like he does the little fundamental things very, very well, especially on defense. You see him always fighting for position in the post. He's going to box out. He's going to fight for those rebounds, but he's got to find more confidence as a scorer. That's what I'm looking for out of Mr. Estrella moving forward. Now on to Gainey. I love what he did in that first half. 9 points throughout the game, shot 2 of 9, got to the free throw line very consistently. He's attacking the basket, okay? And, he's shooting open shots. I love to see that. Again, it's really just about shooting with confidence, playing with confidence, and he did a great job of that. We need for him to continue to be consistent in this facet of the game, coming off of the bench, again, for us to be a national championship type of a team. Now on down to Meshack. Dude, in the second half, you want to talk about playing defense, lockdown defense, getting some big turnovers, playing in those passing lanes, baiting people into some passes, and just creating a huge spark. He's kind of like the spark plug. I would say him and Santi are the spark plugs of this team. Now, he also had 8 points. And, if you go through and if you look at how everyone scored, it was pretty even, Steven, for everybody. I think that we're going to need that moving forward. Again, that's what we're talking about in this video. But he shot 3 of 4 from the field. He had a big time 3 over there in the corner that just really seemed to get us going, right? Like it just kind of brought us back into the game. It got us a whole lot of energy. Whenever he's hitting threes and playing defense like this, I don't think that this team can be stopped, especially if everyone else is playing the way that they should be playing, which is what we saw last night. But I'm just so proud of him. I would say that you could say either him, Santi, or Zakai were the players of the game. All 3 of them balled out, stepped up and did what they were supposed to do. Again, man, I think that Josiah Jordan-James stepped up in a big way as well, but he does have to continue to, shoot those open looks. All right, so a big picture looking at this team, not just from last night, but throughout the entire season. We know that everything runs through DK on offense. And number one, I'm going to say he's going to have to work on being a better defender one-on-one, okay, versus better players with maybe some more speed. He tends to kind of get blown by, and then we have to help, and it just kind of, create some holes in our defense. So he's going to definitely have to step that up for sure moving forward. I think that could potentially be a pretty big weak spot for us. If we play up against some teams with several guys that can isolate DK one-on-one and just go straight at him. It looks like that's been several teams' game plans. Let's try to get him in foul trouble early on, and let's get him off of the court. Then we don't have to worry about him as much. But whenever he's on, okay, like whenever his defense is going well, he's not in foul trouble early on. Teams, again, are going to try to take away what he likes to do. So if he's off for any reason, we need our other players getting rebounds. Fight for those rebounds. Continue to play hard. Get on the floor. The way that we saw us playing last night, that's got to continue through, I would say, the rest of this regular season and then into the NCAA tournament. Again, I don't too much care about the SEC tournament, but we need a whole lot of that. And again, man, we need other players, okay? Our other scorers, Zakai, Santi, Triple J, Gainey coming off of the bench, Mayshak, if he can hit a couple of shots, that's huge, especially a couple of threes. If we could have everyone just consistently taking open looks, just take the shot, shoot with confidence. If you miss, don't get down on yourself. I would say that's probably the biggest thing outside of DK for this team is to find some consistent confidence, because whenever we have that, I feel like, man, we can beat anybody. I don't care if they've got a very dominant big. I don't care if they can isolate us and go one-on-one. If we're playing with confidence, if we're shooting with confidence, if everyone is working together as a team, I honestly believe, y'all, that we have the best basketball team in the entire country. And we've come such a long way as a basketball program, so I'm proud to be able to say that. But those are my thoughts, okay? That's pretty much what I'm looking for moving forward. I need to see some more consistency. Last night was great, but can we reproduce that type of play throughout the entire team, throughout the rest of this regular season? If we can do that, y'all, I don't care if we win or lose. If we can show the consistency that everyone else outside of DK is going to play at their highest level, is going to play with confidence, then, man, bet on us, okay? Whenever y'all picking y'all's brackets, pick Tennessee, because we can do it. As long as we can sustain that. And, I do think, this is kind of like a side note, but I do think early on, maybe it was, I don't know if it was like some locker room issues or something, but it did kind of seem like, especially with guys like Santi, that he just didn't have that confidence. But over the past, really a couple of games, okay, he's played with a little bit more confidence. Now, last night, he showed a lot more confidence in shooting, but, just seeing the old school Santi of getting out there, picking people's pockets, and, just making plays in all the facets of the game, that's huge. So we'll see how things will continue to trend throughout the rest of this regular season. Let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comment section. What does Tennessee need to improve on for you to pick them as a national champion in y'all's bracket? But that's going to be it for this video. And as always, thank you for staying all the way to the end. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.